Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and welcome to A Company of Heroes 2 Shoutcast featuring two excellent players from the HOI clan. What does it stand for? Nobody knows. It's mysterious. Nobody who's told me knows. So basically I don't know. It's Hoi Jimmy 890 and Hoi Pollard playing as the Soviets and the OKW with a Fox Radio and then Wagon coming out right off the bat. And if we look at the bulletins, which I've forgotten to do lately, but you should always look at the bulletins because you can find exciting stuff. Cheaper mines and faster building mines, plus the conscript accuracy, which is pretty standard, the conscript accuracy, and then just the folks stuff. So the mine bulletins are great because either you get better mines or you can mind game your opponent, because then they're like, oh man, my opponent's going to build mines with the mines, but then they don't build mines, so you get mine detectors on your people, but you didn't need mine detectors on your people because they didn't end up getting mines. So that's good. I think if you want to build a lot of mines, you maybe don't get the mine bulletin, because then your opponent will be expecting the mines, they'll be playing around the mines. Or maybe you do get the mine bulletin because your opponent will think that by getting the mine bulletin you're trying to make them think you're getting mines when you're not getting mines, but it turns out you are getting mines. There's really no way around this. Probably half your opponents are going to forget to check your bulletins in the first place, so no need to worry about that. And while things are very quiet on the Western Front, let's go ahead, Eastern Front I guess, let's check the doctrine. So we've got this cool flame-heavy doctrine, we've got this pretty straightforward special ops doctrine, which everybody uses, and then the Luftwaffe ground forces doctrine, which pretty much everybody uses too. Not a lot of excitement with the commander doctrine. Oh, and it's too late to check what Pollard is doing, because Pollard has immediately picked the guard rifle combined armed tactics thing. I suppose to get some guards out relatively quickly, but you do need the 2 CPs for that. We don't have 2 CPs yet. We have 0 CPs, and we have a Maxim getting flanked very well by these Sturm Pioneers coming in and then seizing the church, which is where you often want to stick a Maxim. The Maxim was presumably here for the first engagement, hoping to catch some people in the middle, and then later it might have repositioned to the church or something. But Pollard has to do a soft retreat, pull backwards, set up, gets a nice setup, good enough that along with these conscripts it's going to keep the Wagon out of the fight, because if the Maxim starts targeting the Wagon plus these close by conscripts, that'll melt real fast. So that's some really good positioning by Paul, keeping his cool in this fight, knowing that he has to pull back because he's been caught with his pants down, but not just immediately jamming the retreat button. You really don't want to jam the retreat button this early in a match. You'll lose a lot of important time, and you'll lose a really important position here in the center of the map. And now the Wagon, now that it has a really good idea of where the Maxim is, it knows it can sort of stay at max range, and so as soon as there's an opportunity to harass these conscripts at all, that's what the Wagon is up to. And now these conscripts are getting low enough. You notice their health bar is about half, but they have 6 models in the squad. That's at basically the most precarious. I mean, I suppose you can have a more precarious position if your health bar is even lower than half, but that's about as precarious as things can get for a squad in normal circumstances, because once its health bar is down to half, you're going to start dropping models pretty soon, because that's when the chances of getting a critical hit on you go way up, and so that's really not worth keeping that squad around in the fight if you have a chance to heal it up. And so we do see Paul popping the medic upgrade almost ASAP once the squad started getting low. And look at this, this is way below half, so part of the reason for that is cover can sometimes keep you alive. Ooh, this is dangerous, charging down the right. Yeah, Paul realizes that's not the play, because Paul's a good player. They're both good players. Yeah, you don't want to charge down red cover with a large squad with a low health like that. And the medics are here. The medics walking up and doing weird things with their hands. Very realistic. We have some teching also for the OKW. Tier 2 up, or maybe you call it Tier 1. I don't know what tier you call it. We have Green Cat of Meow has shown up in Twitch chat. Hello, Green Cat of Meow. Tycho, this is past my bedtime. Well, can't help that. I'm on the West Coast, so I can get in before people's bedtimes in lots of areas of the world. I would like to know what time it would be good to stream for a European. So if you're a European on YouTube or on Twitch, tell me when I should stream using some sort of measurement like Greenwich Mean Time or something that I can understand, because 90% of the time people say time zones and it makes no fucking sense to me if it's not my time zone, which is Pacific Standard Time. If you say that, I'll totally understand, but I always end up Googling like X to PST or whatever, and it still doesn't really bring up what you want. Like, how is it the 21st century and there's no easy way to understand time zones? Someone riddle me that. Anyways, we have a really excellent marauding force by here from Jimmy. We had the cutoff earlier. The cutoff has now been unestablished, but Jimmy has almost but not quite captured the fuel, so Jimmy making a good tactical decision there to pull out with the big blob incoming. You don't want to stick around there for too long. We do just have Folks Radiator spam and then more or less conscript spam after that first Maxim coming out. We have the Tech B in Twitch chat saying, hey man, and Green Cat of Meow saying, I'm in California too. Whenever you get to the EU, I'll tell you. So for those keeping score at home, that's the end of the Kubelwagen, and Green Cat of Meow, 8:45 p.m. is past your bedtime, so you go to bed very early. I thought I went to bed early, because I go to bed between 9 and 10 p.m., but apparently not. So these detonation thingies, oh, we have the guards called in, so little late to deal with the Kubelwagen, but of course they're not to deal with the Kubelwagen, they're to deal with the AA half-track that is coming out that Paul maybe knows about, maybe predicted, because Paul is smart. So we do have also, man, there's so much stuff to talk about. There's minesweepers to talk about on the Sturm Pioneers. Is that because Jimmy saw the mine bulletins and there's some mine games going on? Is that because this depth pack, which is, if I had to, who gets to build these? Do both? No, you need this to build the depth pack, don't you? Right? No, this is mine detector. Maybe? No, I don't know. I don't know. Can the Sturm Piles build them? I guess Sturm Piles can't build depth packs, so that's a Soviet thing. Why am I not looking at any of the fights on this map? And we do have the Guards Rifle called in basically simultaneously with the AA half-track, so that's really good timing from the Soviet player. Good foresight there. And, oh, 2 Guards Rifles. Sorry, I missed the first one. I go into sort of a trance while I'm casting, and I sort of miss everything. That was a nice, I feel like that was maybe the AT rifle shot that killed that guy. Again, I wasn't looking very closely because, again, I was in the trance, but we do have the counter fuel cap from the Soviet player coming up to try to reenact the first thing. And so now we're going to see the Maxim firing on the A half-track. Notice not doing any damage. These guys unfortunately get suppressed, so they have to pull back before they can get their shots off. We'll have to see if the other Guards Rifle squad is not going to have a DP upgraded. There is enough munitions hanging out there to upgrade the DP, but the Guards Rifles don't have it yet. It might be worth going for it because that is, of course, a great way to catch the half-track. You button them with the DP-27 and then you catch them. The other alternative is if you upgrade your AT grenades on the conscripts, you can get it. And do we have the AT grenade? No, we don't have it being upgraded. We don't have enough manpower to upgrade it because we're busy reinforcing all these people. And we are also teching, so we teched to tier 2 for the early Maxim and skipping tier 1, of course. And now we're going up to tier 3, so I guess it's going to be tier 3 is going to be the main counter for the AA half-track because these Guards Rifles have been relatively unsuccessful in their task so far. You know what I learned the other day? I was looking on YouTube trying to figure, like, pressing some buttons on my videos, and you actually can embed a poll in your YouTube videos, which I was actually saying in one of my earlier videos. Like, I wish there was a way to put a poll in the YouTube comments. You can do better. You can do better than putting it in the comments. You can put it in the video itself. So I want to test it in this video. So first I got to remind myself that I'm going to put a poll in. Obviously I know right now, but when I upload the video I'm going to need to remember, and I'm going to need to remember where it is. So to remind me, I'm going to shake the screen a lot on the video so I can just go through and scrub through until I find the screen shaking. So if you're going to get really dizzy in a second, just close your eyes and I'll tell you when it's safe. So here we go. Okay, you can open your eyes again. So that'll remind me to put the poll. So now I'm going to put a poll. It was going to be what's that mine going to hit, but instead it's going to be who's going to win the game. So vote now if you're on YouTube. Hopefully this works. I really hope this works because this is going to be really cool. It's the future, guys. YouTube is 99% shit, but 1% polls, I guess. And I'm a big fan of the polls. So we have an infantry support gun out. It's set up pretty close to the middle, all things considered. But until the until the Soviet player sets up in the middle, I feel like it's not going to do very much. These people are going to be on the move, so it's not going to be able to hit them. You want to be thinking about when's your infantry support gun going to get a chance to... Well, it killed somebody, but when you really want a chance to fire at some static people in a building or something, get some shells on people who aren't going anywhere. So when you have control of the middle, that's not the time for the infantry support gun to shine. But you can't pick and choose your times, and that's sometimes the way that the cookie crumbles, the biscuit crumbles. That's how things crumble. So here's the AT for real coming out from the Soviet Tier 3. Let's click on the Soviet so we can click on the Tier 3 and show you. It's the T-70. Okay, so this clearly was a Soviet thing, mineswept by the Sturm Pioneers and shot by the AA half-track or the Volksgrenadiers. I was going to talk about the depth pack getting nerfed. What did they do? They lowered the damage? I think they lowered the damage. Still makes a really big crater, though. That would be the thing I would be most worried about getting nerfed. If they ever nerf the size of this crater, there's going to be hell to pay. I will abandon CoH2 for the third time if they ever make that crater less imposing. So here's the T-70, surprising everybody. The smoke is popped, but it's probably not going to be enough. There's going to need to be, I was about to say there's going to need to be a Faust, but Jimmy was Johnny on the spot with the Faust even before I could say that, and did he just say leave us? How noble. But yeah, the T-70 has now effectively paid for itself. How exactly much is the cost of this thing? 270.55, and for the T-70, 260.70. So more or less paid for itself. German does have a surplus of fuel right now. We'll have to see. This truck is kind of forward, which suggests it's going to be a Tier 4 soonish with the little turret set up to protect the cutoff, keep it from getting shot. Not this cutoff, but this cutoff, kind of cutoff. I guess it counts as a cutoff. It'll cut off your fuel if you don't have the center point ready to go. So that's a good cutoff to protect. I think this is a good cutoff to protect too, but since this is so generally easily defensible, it's not sort of as open to the opponent getting it as this one is, which is a constant source of ire for people who wish this map was better balanced. It does make sense to sort of more closely protect this point, this cutoff point, with your Tier 4. Do I have other stuff to talk about? I feel like there's one more. There's the YouTube poll, which I'm very excited for. I'm more excited for this than I've ever been for anything in my entire life. I feel like maybe there was something else. Do we have two? We have a Raketenwerfer. So the Raketenwerfer is maybe going to nail this T-70. It doesn't have vision of the Raketen. Now it does, and is it going to immediately reverse? Paul is busy doing something, probably microing these infantry up top. What is going on? T-70 is taking a lot of hits, but it does get out because it's at max range, so the Raketenwerfer can't see in the fog of war. Would have been nice to move those Volksgrenadiers into this building to sight for the thing, but that might have been so aggressive that the Soviet player would have noticed it was coming and backed off even earlier. Would have been good to Faust the T-70 with the Volksgrenadiers, but I suppose the Soviet player would have known something was up, or would have started backing away as they saw the Volksgrenadier coming in. I don't know what the Soviet player is microing all over the map, because this is twice now he's gotten real low, first with the T-70 and next with that conscript squad, presumably looking somewhere else and doing something else, but I'm really not sure what it was. Maybe back at base reinforcing, or busy getting the T-70 over to this side of the map, but what was it being microed during the T-70? It wasn't these people in the building, because they got grenaded without hopping out, so it's all kind of a mystery. The TechB in Twitch chat says, I feel like you'd get a lot more views if you streamed in more mainstream times. So yeah, it's not like I'm only going to stream in non-mainstream times. I'm right now just getting back into streaming, getting back into playing the game and watching the game. And also Twitch has this thing where you can be like a Twitch affiliate if you meet certain criteria, and one of those criteria is streaming a certain number of times over a certain number of days. So I'm going to do that real quick so I can be a Twitch affiliate, and then people can subscribe to me and use an emoticon, which is special for Twitch chat. So I'm going to get one of those. I think it'll be a pigeon. The other option is it'll be the T-34 tricked out for Tokyo drifting, which if you've been watching my shoutcasts for many years, you'll remember long ago I had, yeah, you won't remember long ago. It was in one shoutcast where I was like, that T-34 was Tokyo drifting. But somebody thought that was cool and they drew me a picture, and this mine just killed everybody in the squad except for one person. So either that or a pigeon will be my custom emoticon, and once I've done that, I can just go back to streaming at normal times for normal people. These guys, did they drop their, I guess once they're upgraded with the DP27, it shows this really unhelpful icon. and just confuses everybody because you're like, what happened to the AT grenades or AT rifles? But they're still there. Anyways, they wiped a squad, and the German player is now really in trouble because we've lost the AA half track, we've lost the squad, and I guess I was about to ask where the fuel go. Where did the fuel go? The fuel went into the tier 4. So we do have a tier 4 ticking up, and we also have a doctrine picked at some point, and now we have Fallschirmjägers coming in. So are you ready for the falls? I'm ready for the falls. Where are the falls gonna fall? Here they are. Okay. Okay. Let's just, let's not talk about that. So don't do that. That's Tycho's tip of the day. Don't. What I said I wasn't gonna talk about it. It's too painful. It's too painful. I can't talk about it. It's so sad. Those poor Fallschirmjägers. We're ready for round 2. He can click the button again. He's got the manpower. Yeah, but don't drop your airborne troops on any sort of obstacle because they'll just fucking die. The original Company Heroes, that couldn't happen, I'm pretty sure. It wouldn't let you drop them anywhere where they'd die. Whereas Company Heroes 2, they're like, let's add this amazing mechanic where if our completely inaccurate targeting system UI leads you into mistakenly clicking on some obstacle, which why the fuck, there's no tactical, it's not like an interesting choice, like, oh, do I drop them on the building or the tree, or do I drop them somewhere? It's not like anybody would ever choose to kill all their people. It's just like adds an extra step of like bullshit into the game where you can fuck up if you're not careful where you're clicking. And you can't really tell where you're clicking, because again, the UI for dropping the people is kind of shit. But anyways, they did that in this game, and so now you can really fuck it up badly when you drop people, and that's exactly what happened to Jimmy. Second time fucked up badly in a less bad way. Oh look, the T-70 is getting hit by the Canton Riffer, which is Lord knows where it is. It isn't. It got Fausted. It must have gotten Fausted, right? No, what the fuck hit it? Is a mine? Is a okay? Well, he quit. GG. So lesson there is AA half track is a high risk, high reward unit. You lose it and you snooze it, and then Fallschirmjägers much more effective if you don't drop them onto a bush or into a machine gun. And okay, so that's that for this cast. These were two really excellent players. If you're not aware of them, they're both really high up on the ladder, and so we just watched two really good players play. And I wish to God I could click on that mortar and find out how many kills it has, because that's what I'm curious about. It looks like it's got a star of veterancy. It does. Okay, but we're done. So the end for the showcast.